Now we're going to bring to life this discussion with a real world example. So you'll hear directly from Lizzie Gohier, Senior Manager of Internal Communications at Lightspeed Commerce, alongside Tara Walker, Director of Customer Success at Staffbase. They'll share how Lightspeed is evolving its intranet program from strengthening content governance to preparing for AI and what's working in practice. So, Lizzie, Tara, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Lizzie, nice to see you again.
Great to see you. Hi, everybody.
Well, as Lauren said, I lead customer success for Staffbase Americas, and I have the pleasure of being with Lizzie Gohier today. And I know you're a communications expert with a severe passion for employee experience, but what else would this team maybe not know about you?
Yeah, hi, everybody. Just to introduce myself, I've been with Lightspeed for almost 4.5 years. On the side, I'm a psychological thriller author. And just to introduce Lightspeed, we are a point of sale and payments platform powering businesses in over 100 countries. We have a global workforce of 3,500 employees around the world, and they're all desktop and very technically savvy. So our readers in my sort of field of employee experience are very savvy, and 100% of them are on our intranet, which is called My Lightspeed. And yeah, they're active there every week. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy my role in internal comms.
Thank you. We've got Doreen and Alyssa and a lot of people that have worked with you giving you kudos on the side, so you can see that later. Well, I'm going to play a little bit into your psychological thriller background. And maybe we can start with, I mean, if you think about how you're bringing things to life that you maybe don't scare thrill, but like excite thrill and engage your employees, talk about some of the big wins that you've seen over the last couple of years with your experience that you're building.
Yeah, well, like an author, we have to really think about the reader, or in this case, the employee, and what are they actually experiencing when they come to our internet. I really want, as a communicator, for them to see, feel, or do things when we're trying to communicate to them. And much like a psychological thriller author, yeah, we sort of want to keep them excited and like keep giving them something new to look at to kind of like sort of spur that experience on. So what we've been finding as some of our big wins this year is really in the last couple of years we've been redesigning our intranet so that we're really thinking through the site architecture and our homepage in terms of the experience. So what we did there is, let me just move forward. And focusing on that experience, we try to leverage really some of the very cool features that Staffbase has, and also that we were able to customize as widgets, and have a kudos wall, have the apps all there, have the a countdown to the next global town hall, have an embedded calendar of the events that are coming up, and have time zones because we're all over the world. Sort of these sort of features have really helped the employees sort of feel like at home immediately. Also with the site architecture, we use that sort of quick link real estate to sort of show the Paris office link to the Paris office group. That page is visible to anyone if they search for it. But just using that site architecture in those clever ways to make the links visible to groups, that's been really exciting for us because we could build out these mega menus of like really a more tailored experience for the employees. So they're seeing the pages that are relevant to them as their top sort of 50 or so pages. which is very exciting. It's a bit of work, but it's all in the editing in the back, so that's great. We also refreshed our pages themselves to make them more readable, so people can sort of scan down. And we did a lot of lovely short campaigns using quizzes or some of Staffbase's amazing plugins like quizzes to sort of engender like a sort of short fun activation that people could just really jump on. And I heard in the previous talk about that sort of water cooler experience, and so that's what we brought to our intranet in the last years or so, short, sharp activations that everyone can kind of get around and have some fun with.
Yeah, I know you definitely lean in when there's a new way to reach and engage. You're at the front of the queue, right? Willing to explore. But if we look at some of those wins, I know that doesn't just happen. And in order to truly engage, you need to critique and analyze and figure out where to focus. And then you need to build it, right? And streamline and optimize. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about, I think if we go to the next slide, you talk a little bit more about some of the things that you've used to help you figure out where should I focus, what should I do, and where do I go next? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so definitely the AI features that Staffbase has already have been very helpful in this. What we really wanted to do was nail our auto translation and review function, because we are a Quebec headquartered company. So our information needs to be available in Canadian French as well as English. And so, we could really lean into those AI supported features with Staffbase to achieve that, and really quicken our processes with all of that. Now we can, auto translate, then review that with our in-house translator. And all of that is just so seamless to really be able to focus on, what's really working and what's not working. So alongside that, we can use the really great page analytics and content description field to really give our content that is outdated or any issues with the content to really target that to fix. And this also helps search enormously, the content description field. So we've really been supported with Staffbase's features in that way so far.
Lizzie, we've heard from a couple of others just before this about AI, and I mean, there's not a conversation you're having that doesn't include AI in some capacity. When you look at Lightspeed, how is that organization approaching AI, and really how is whatever they're doing impacting you as a comms leader or supporting you in that journey?
Yeah, at Lightspeed we have an AI acceleration and governance committee, which is a very cross-functional, in-house committee that is overseeing and enabling the employees to learn about AI, innovate with it, but with really good guardrails for how we're working. So that's very exciting. So we do have, and as a comms unit, we have, sort of that enablement sort of rolling out, supporting that all the time. We have sort of a monthly newsletter of what's going on about AI at Lightspeed. We have, dedicated hubs about, the trainings that employees must take before they're using tools. So we're definitely innovating, but with really good guardrails as a company, and then as a community in terms of our internal comms. We're all very much empowered and encouraged to experiment with those tools. To go faster. Create gems, like we have Gemini. So we're all able to really use it in great ways. It's very helpful.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know I'm dabbling in, as is many members of my team, in gems every day. So feels like there's something happening innovative wise any minute, frankly, over here. I know we talked a little bit about kind of establishing a foundation, and again, the gentleman before us were talking about trust. You've embraced engaging a two-way conversation to the nth degree, which is not always easy. And I'd love to hear, maybe before you talk a little bit about the foundation, how you maybe overcame any fears in your organization of opening that door and really letting employees share directly back with you, because turning that faucet on could be a little scary. So did you have to go through an influence, or how did that evolve for you?
Yeah, like when we look at some of our two-way communication channels, like we have on Staffbase, we have an anonymous form for our employee Q&As. And this was something that we had to lean into, like to keep that consistency, because at first, you sort of invite all the Q&As and you're going to get a lot. But, as you go forth, like over, sort of a year or like in a consistent time frame, and you're still opening that form up, gathering the questions, having our leaders give really thoughtful answers, publishing them, letting the employees know, hey, Q&A's up, go have a look, put in your questions for next month. Now you see it's the trickle, it's more of a trickle, or there's definitely like sort of periods where there'll be more questions and then not. And then we were able to, also with the help of AI to analyze, sort of like surface the most asked questions to pin at the top. So, they can go there and know that, oh, well, there's my answer already. I don't need to ask that question for the 10th time. So I would really like lean into it. And I think it's about the consistency and, working with our leaders to get that, rhythm going. And yeah, it can be a lot of work, but it's really worth it, because when you see that employees can trust that they can go and ask those questions and it's anonymous, like sometimes we wish we had the names attached, or that we could see that in the back end. Because, it's like a very specific question. If we just knew that person's name, we would, be able to directly answer them. And we have to say, like, remember, this form's anonymous. We cannot see like who's submitted this question, but that really reassures employees that they can ask anything, and that's it's definitely a great channel to kind of work on and have open all the time.
Yeah. What share maybe a little bit more. You've talked about quizzes and widgets. Talk about your global community week. I know you're doing so many things, but just a little bit more on what you're doing there.
Yeah, I think we saw in the previous slide sort of this global commute week, which we just put up as a one activation, with a user generated feed where everyone could post pictures of their walks and their cycles, or ways to commute to home or to the office, because we have remote employees as well. So it was like, get out there and do a commute before you return to your office at home. It's sort of like all of those foundational activations are just so easy to like create on Staffbase. And, we really appreciate sort of the ease with which you can just create things for a short term. We had a quiz when we relaunched our homepage, and about 2,800 weighed in on that quiz out of 3,000 employees at the time. So that was in the space of like 2.5 weeks, and it was just so fun, for people. So what we try to do is like have that solid foundation and then innovate on top of that, like bring like fun things, engaging things to our pages or corners or areas, and then see what's the most popular out of that to kind of like keep working on, in a more long-term way. Next up, I'm going to try the shorts, the new feature that Staffbase has called Shorts, which is like a Instagram type feed of short videos that are not landscape, but like, portraits. So we're going to, like show glimpses of what happens in the offices over the week from our culture clubs and our different offices, or, literally put on some of the videos that are on our Instagram life at Lightspeed. So like we're always just trying to try the new features and see what we can do with them and see how they land.
Lizzie, if you look back over the last year since you have played around and I think you're working from a place of trust, so you probably have more employees willing to engage back with you. What's your favorite, like what thing have you done that's driven engagement or an outcome for your organization that you're the most proud of as you look over the last year or so?
Yeah, and I think like this kind of moves into this engagement strategy slide. I think it's really about that consistency, like where we can see that we've been consistent over our content series, or consistent publishing on a topic that's important, like our strategy or what we're doing with AI, or what we're doing with our employee-led networks, where we can see those consistent series. That's bringing more trust, that's bringing more engagement. It's like a slow build, but I think that's where we are doing well. And I think that it's also the analytics are very helpful. That allows us to focus more, like what is really working, what's not, like using those campaigns to see like, did anybody respond to those campaigns that we have. Oh, sorry. It's very early in New Zealand.
It always happens to me every time.
Yeah, and just keeping the human side. I put that little guiding principle there because it's I heard the conversation about AI earlier, and I've literally been asked, I think it's sad that the news post is completely written by AI because of all the M dashes. And I was like, no, I love M dashes. That's a real thing from before AI. So it really highlights to me how important it is to keep showing the human behind the news posts or behind the content. And that, I'm sorry, and that's to keep the trust and keep the transparency, that employees know that, there's like real people behind this.
Well, thank you. I know we're coming up on our last 30 seconds here, Lizzie. I know this is above and beyond your day job, so thank you for coming and sharing with us. I'm sure people loved seeing your actual intranet. I know everyone always wants to see that, and just the energy that you put behind not just engaging, but finding out what's going to be meaningful, testing, analyzing, and then trying. That's the way you make it as valuable as possible. So thank you for spending time with us today. And I think we're giving it back to Lauren at this point.